Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about a staple in our house, and that is this fried corn. We fight over it all the time, so I said I'm going to put out a video on exactly how to make it. So let's get right into it. You start out with 10 ears of corn. Now you can do more or less, but for this video I'm doing 10 ears of corn. I pulled the husk off. I'm also pulling off all the little strings that are on the corn that were left behind from the husk. We don't want any of that in our final product because that is not a good look. When you are buying corn in the store, make sure you're buying fresh, number one. Make sure that you are getting ones that look fresh on the outside. If it looks all dried up and crumbly on the outside, skip that one. Go to ones that look fresher on the outside, nice and bright green. When you open it on the inside, there's a full ear of corn there. It's not rotten on the top or anything like that, and really plump looking, because that plumpness is what's going to give you the final product that you're really looking for with fried corn. So next I take a knife, a very sharp knife, and I cut off a very, very thin layer of the kernels of corn off the cob. You do not want to dig deep down into the kernels at this point. You only want to take a very, very thin layer off the top of the kernels. What's left on the corn cob is what's going to give you that thickness. So we're going to scrape that out in just a minute. Okay, and at this point, this is what you're left with, a cob with a bunch of pulp on the inside. Take the back side of your knife at this point. You don't need the sharp end, just the back side of it, and scrape all of that goodness out of those kernels. This is where you're going to get your creaminess, your thickness, and all of the decadence that comes with fried corn. That's where it comes from. So this is all 10 ears done. This is what the corn should look like once you have done this to all 10 ears of corn. Now we're going to add the seasonings. The seasonings that we're adding are going to be seasoning salt, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and sugar. Now, as far as seasonings go, they could be more, they could be less. I am going to leave what I use in the description box, but please feel free to change it up. Do what you need. If you want more sugar, less salt, whatever, go ahead and change it up and make it how you want to make it. The only other thing to add to this delicious corn is water. Yes, I said water. I'm not putting no milk or butter or anything else in there. It's going to come out perfectly creamy and decadent without having to add any milk or anything else to it. I just added the sugar because I forgot to add it in the beginning. But I stir it all up until it gets a little bit soupy looking. Right now it needs a little bit more water, so I'm going to add a little bit more until it gets to be just soupy enough to where it's not super soupy, but you don't want it to be super thick, because the water is what's going to cook the corn and have it cooked down. We want the corn to be cooked through once we get done with it, so the water is what's going to help that. So I start out with a cast iron skillet because I love my cast iron. That is the only thing I use for fried corn and some other dishes. I have to use a cast iron skillet for this because it gets nice and hot. The heat is evenly distributed. I just love cast iron, period. So once the oil gets hot, you go ahead and add the corn in. You bring the temperature up to about a medium high. Now let me tell you something about this dish. This dish is messy. Now it can be messy. You have to continue to watch it. When you're cutting the corn off the ears, corn's gonna be flying all over your kitchen. When you're cooking it at this stage, you see all those bubbles, all of that stuff's gonna be popping up on you. Don't worry, just keep stirring. Stirring is the name of the game for this dish. You have to keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. Do not let it sit long, because the sugars in the corn will stick to the bottom. And if you see that little brown piece right there, that will be all over the bottom of your pan if you do not continue to stir it. Now, you don't have to stand there and stir it the whole time it's cooking, but please don't walk off and get to watching TV, walk off and start doing stuff with your kids and come back and think it's going to be right, because it's not. It's going to be all burnt at the bottom and ain't nobody going to want to eat it. We want people to eat our food because our food is going to be good. That's what we want. So we're going to keep stirring it and keep stirring it. You can see it's getting thicker as we go along. Mm-hmm. Y'all see it. Y'all see that richness in color. Y'all see that decadence. Y'all see that thickness. We want to keep cooking just a few more minutes to get most of that liquid cooked out. We want the water to cook out and only be left behind with the pulp from the corn. That's the only thing we want left behind. So we're going to cook it just a little bit more and it will be ready to go. And this is what you want. You see there's very little liquid left in it. It's just mostly the corn and the pulp left. That's what you want. Corn, pulp, flavorings, seasonings, and deliciousness. That's what you want left. The main thing I want to stress in this video is to make sure y'all are stirring this dish because we don't want no sticky mess. Make sure you're stirring it the whole time. And here is the final result. Don't it look delicious? Y'all know that look good? It is so good. I want you all to try this recipe. It is not hard at all. Give it a try. See how you like it. Thank you all so much for watching and we'll see you later.